Welcome to More Than Words. The program is part of the Communications Initiative and the Communication and Behavior Change Accelerator. For the next half hour or so, we would like to showcase effective storytelling about water. More Than Words will return every day of World Water Week, and this is where you'll experience artists, authors, poets, storytellers, dancers, and musicians addressing the water issue in various creative and inspiring ways. Between Music creates and produces unique art projects and innovative performance concert. Together with United for Rescue, they made Drowned Requiem. Our next film comes from the European Science Communication Institute. Combining storytelling, archive footage, and animations, this is an introductory video explaining the purpose of the EU project C for Value.
Minerals and metals are part of most products or objects of our everyday life. For example, take these kids playing soccer. You will find minerals in the soccer ball, in the goal arch, and also in the hoodie's zippers. Currently, we get these raw materials from mines that are usually located very far away from Europe, which leads to a supply risk and dependence on foreign markets. But did you know that seawater is also full of minerals and metals? Some of them are valuable, rare, or even critical. However, they have low concentrations, and to pump out the seawater and to push it through a membrane at high pressure, we would need an enormous quantity of energy, which is not yet economically feasible. But there is an industry that is already pumping out seawater. Desalination plants are doing just that to produce fresh water. Most desalination plants use what is called reverse osmosis technology, by passing seawater through a dense membrane under pressure. The dense membrane only allows water to pass, obtaining high-quality water. In the process, they also produce a hypersaline brine that is considered waste, but has high concentrations of minerals and metals. This is where the Sea for Value project comes in. It aims to recover these metals and minerals from the brines of desalination plants. This European project will create a multi-mineral and modular process that aims to be the first industrially viable brine mining method to extract minerals and metals in a new, sustainable way, while producing fresh water for consumption. Furthermore, this process reduces the amount of brine discharged back to the ocean. It will develop 10 new, highly breakthrough technological solutions in a multi-mineral and modular process for pre-treatment, concentration, and selective recovery. The success of the project will make desalination plants a new source of valuable raw materials in the European Union, while also having a huge environmental positive effect, a sharp increase in water desalination efficiency. Join us as we convert brines into valuable minerals and metals.
Sanitation and Water Entrepreneurship Pact, SWEP, is a network that decided to use podcast to help build stronger bridges between all stakeholders and to create a meeting place to further mutual understanding as well as to provide practical information.
Hello and welcome to All Ears on Water and Sanitation Entrepreneurship, the podcast where we share stories, insights and tips and tricks on how to grow and sustain a WASH business. I'm Andy Narracott and today we're looking at grant fundraising and the challenges of doing it successfully.
The Sanitation and Water Entrepreneurship Pact, the organization who is actually behind the podcast, was created to foster ecosystem development in the water and sanitation sector. In this sector, the universe of players is very large and is very diverse. So we decided to create the podcast as a kind of meeting place for the different stakeholders, and also a place where entrepreneurs could get practical tips, information, and also where we could tell the stories of the entrepreneurs so that they can relate to each other and also connect with each other and support each other.
When we had the opportunity, but also the urgent need to raise investment, I knew very little about this world. I knew very little about this language. I didn't know where are those investors, how do I find them, how do I approach them, and what to do, of course.
So why did you decide to transition from grants to investment? Some people might say free money. Why did you decide to go the investment route?
Yeah, really good question.
The beauty of podcasts over the written word is that you can go several layers deep into a topic that would otherwise be unsuitable for a written format. So it gives us this opportunity to bring many different voices to a topic and look at it from all different sides. WASH, after all, is not one-dimensional. So podcasting gives us this opportunity to explore the topic from several different viewpoints.
before doing the pilot, we surveyed around 60 entrepreneurs in our network to assess do they listen to podcasts? Would podcast be an interesting tool for them? And the response was actually quite positive. The results showed that around 50% of our audience were already regular podcast listeners. And also the results showed that around 80% of even 100% among the French speakers were really interested in a WASH podcast, WASH entrepreneurship podcast. They thought that it was a niche podcast that wasn't there yet, and that they would find it a really useful tool for them.
For us, we use 3 golden rules, essentially, to assess any and all opportunities. And every single grant or investment proposal that we make to the board follows these golden rules and is assessed against them. So, and they focus on three separate areas. So one is the management. So do we believe in the management? Do the management have a track record? What's the board of directors like? Is there a board of directors? What's the governance like?
So to choose the topics, we canvassed lots of different opinions of the SWEP members on what topics they felt were most important to cover. And personally, I let my own experience of WASH, since I've been in the sector for over 20 years now. God. And founding a sanitation business in Ghana several years ago gave me a really nuanced understanding of what it's like to run a business and the challenges, of which there are many. In the end, we chose to focus on 4 main topics, which was 1, raising investments, both on the debt and grant raising side, on human resources, on working with the government, and on impact measurement as well.
It's quite a blurred line, isn't it, between the private sector and the public sector, in particular with sanitation. Did you ever get any sort of questions raised about why are you doing the work of government?
Totally. I think that is something that came from the onset when we were starting the initial engagement with the government. There was a lot of resistance trying, like the government guarding their responsibility because they were afraid maybe we were coming to showcase them as a failure. They cannot do their job. That's why we are doing. So I think we needed to be smart in the approach and try to have a clear value proposition to them so that they could see the benefit. And for us, I think our value proposition was we are coming to help you do your job. If you partner with us, you combine your efforts, and with our efforts, it's you is going to look good.
So, yeah, we encountered challenges. I mean, who doesn't? At the beginning, it seemed it might be challenging because there's so many stakeholders in the SWEP membership. We wanted to ensure, obviously, that everyone had their say and that we mentioned some of the work of members where it made sense. But in the end, it actually wasn't a major challenge. Everyone was extremely collaborative.
Measuring the impact of the podcast is also still something we are trying to figure out. Of course, we have the download numbers, but the download numbers, and they are useful, but they don't tell you anything in qualitative terms. No? Did the people like the podcast? Is the format the right one? Is it useful?
The pilot series per se was not meant for scale. It's not meant for reaching huge numbers, but it was for us. It was a way of testing and have a real product to show to sort of test the viability of this medium. We didn't expect to have a large listenership at this stage,
but we still had much more downloads than expected, and also people listened to our podcast in 64 countries, which was kind of we were very pleased with that. It was kind of a nice number, no?
The engagement rate on social media was actually quite good. We received a lot of positive feedback about the podcast, and the pilot was actually really well shared. We
use it in training sessions with young entrepreneurs. It starts to be kind of a tool that we use in other contexts as well. So I think it was definitely worth it doing the podcast, and we really liked. We had a lot of fun working with Audio Impact Studios and with Andy, who brought in a lot of ideas and who was really helpful and was a great host. So yeah, we were looking forward to the next series.
Make sure you tune in for the next episode when we're talking about the all-important human factor side of WASH businesses, the human resources. I'm Andy Narracott. I'm all ears on water and sanitation entrepreneurship. Thank you all for listening. Global Water Dances uses the international language of dance to promote awareness and behavioral change. Dancers from all over the world take part in this event, dancing together for safe water. This performance you are about to see comes from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania in the US.
Where water flows, life follows. And where there's life, there can be tension. The path for our city is an uncertain one. With the inevitability of urban expansion and rise in population, there are undoubtedly moments where the intersection of natural habitats and human behavior can cause friction.